I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no
We'll call it a draw.
no man.
Just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a
Oh
flesh
yeah, there he is, the degenerate.
Only took
The
fucking forever.
degenerate.
I was just telling
What's up?
Frank, we got to use Zoom. It's way easier.
Oh yeah.
What's
Yeah,
up,
I do all the
doggies?
shit through Zoom now.
The boys are fucking back.
I know, man. It's been a long time.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Missed you
Hey,
guys,
that-
man. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, during our last pod, we had not yet heard of Andrew Tate or the Liver King.
That's true. They didn't exist.
Right? It didn't exist.
They,
Right.
I mean, they were alive apparently, but we
Not
didn't hear
like
about
this.
them.
Yeah, like they weren't in our peripheral. Like I didn't.
No,
I had
not at all. They weren't anybody's.
right. They just blew up. So what's up, doggies? What's
Nothing
going
too
on
crazy,
in
man.
your lives, man?
I'm fat and happy again. That's good.
Dude, Gary,
100
you
180 pounds instead of fucking 145 pounds is nice. Feels
what the
good.
fuck happened with that weight cut, Gary? You looked like you were dying.
Well, that's what's supposed to happen. I lost. I lost
Oh, I mean,
40
not
pounds.
to that extent. You looked like a skeleton. Like your face was.
I mean, that's what Gary Tonin looks at 145 pounds, man.
Bro,
I've never seen like.
I always said we always talked about like your weight, whatever. And you're like, I'm gonna go to 145, and I was just like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like I've always seen like you got really thick legs and big joints, like your knees, your elbows. I'm like, this guy's gonna have a hard time making 45.
It's definitely a healthier cut for like a UFC weigh-in or something like that for ADCC, because it's like you have to weigh in like 3 times, like day before, day of, and then like if you make it to the next round, you got to weigh in again. So that makes it really difficult, because it means you can't really you're not really able to cut like a whole shit ton of water weight, because you got to fight the same day that you're weighing in. So
Yeah, so you got to be there.
super low.
Yeah, you got to actually be there. You got to weigh
I
that
think
amount.
making 45 like for just a regular normal day before weigh-in wouldn't be too much of a problem. It wouldn't have required the same amount of stress. It was just like the first time I ever got down that low, so it was a feeling out process. I like went super hard super early just to see like how quickly I could lose weight and things like that, and I also wanted to just be close to the weight that I was going to compete at, because I wanted to see what my body felt like at that weight.
Right.
And there just kind of came a certain point where it like wasn't a good idea to be at that weight for like that long. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot throughout that process, and I think if I ever had to do it again, I would do it much better than I did the first time.
What was your thought process behind going to that weight?
Well,
Like, why?
we had nobody at that weight, like nobody qualified.
So
in
it was
ADCC.
strategic.
Yeah, we have a guy that fights at 170. We have guys that fight at I think it's like 190 is the next weight class, and then after that there's like a 205-ish, and then maybe it's like then one above that's like heavyweight or whatever. We had guys at every weight class except for 45, and I've always wanted to try to do 45, but we've always had like 2 athletes at that weight class, or at least 1 athlete at that weight class, so it didn't really make any sense. But this year, I felt like it made the most sense. So, yeah, I just wanted to give it a shot.
Would you do it again? No, right?
I would never. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't, like, for example, like, one championship was asking me, like, oh, yeah, do you want to, like, fight at 45? And I'm like, no, I do not. Because you have to remember, with one championship, again, it's kind of similar to the ADCC in that, like, you can't cut a whole lot of water weight. Like they do a hydration test. So for me it would be very similar to ADCC weight cut if I did 45 for them. Now, could I do it? Sure. But that's something that I would only consider doing for them. Like if I won a championship at 55 first and then decided that, okay, like let's try to beat the champ at 45 or something. But I would be more quickly try to beat the champion at 170 before I would probably go the below. But either way, I would consider doing it, but I would never do it as like this is my fight weight class all the time. I don't think that would be fun for me. I would hate life, dude. Like, man, it's there hit a certain point where like there was very distinct and obvious changes in me just as a human being. We're not just talking like, oh, Gary's hangry or like hungry. Like, it's like, no. My entire hormone system just went like this, like straight down, dude. Like, no, you would have had to like fucking put a gun to my head to get me to masturbate. Like, I just didn't care. It just meant nothing to me. And as you guys know, that's very much the opposite of what I am on a day-to-day basis. So
you busted 0 nuts?
Very few, dude. Like,
he didn't want to.
I just did it. It just meant nothing to me. Like, the only thing I could think about all day long was food. Like, sex was just like a.
You were in like survival mode.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
The body just went. This is no longer important. We don't need to lose any more fluids.
Yeah.
Fuck all that. That's not good. When you start losing your drive, that's no bueno.
When you're satiated, Gary, is when the beast comes out.
We were practicing involuntary semen retention.
So what's the plan? So what's the plan moving forward, Gary?
Makes you stupid. Makes your brain not work right.
Yeah, man. It was bad. I was definitely, you could ask all my training partners. I was just like a different person for at least a month. Did
you feel like weaker?
Yes and no. I think maybe I was a little bit more prone to injury. I didn't feel like when I actually trained, like the only thing that was really missing was like a little bit of like an explosive pop. Like, I didn't have the same, like, my body was so concerned with conserving energy that most of the time when I trained, like, I wouldn't do the same. I didn't want to waste energy doing anything. So like, I just didn't.
And that's crazy because your jiu-jitsu is very explosive and very you like
dynamic.
You like the scrambles and you like to get.
When I actually competed in ADCC, I felt pretty good though. Everything leading up to it was pretty horrible, but when I actually competed and I was, because I got to eat carbs and things like that right after I weigh it. You know what I mean? I had a little bit of a period of time to kind of reset and get a little bit more normal. And I actually felt pretty good when I competed, despite, the performance wasn't that great, but I still felt good. I didn't feel terrible. I was like, I had so much gas leading up to it. Mm-hmm. I was literally like doing like 2 or 3 repetitions of moves to warm up. And then I would have to like fart for fucking 10 minutes in the corner and then fucking come back. Not 10 minutes, but like 30 seconds in the corner, then come back. And then when I went out to compete, your body just has like a way of shutting all that off. And when I competed, it was fine. But like, I felt like I was probably going to shit myself prior to that. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Your GI completely shuts down. You basically go into fight or flight. Like it's a different, different role for your systems, and your gut is not necessary at all.
Yep.
Gary, who won gold at 45?
At 45, fuck, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
Isn't that your weight class?
I really don't know.
So you don't know who won your weight class?
It was that day, but he's.
I did, dude. Once I'm.
You have no idea who won at your weight class?
I'm much less enthused. I forget, man. I really do. I think it was one of the trials winners. I think it was like the. I feel like I should look it up.
What weight class are like the Rotullo brothers?
They're too heavy. It definitely wasn't one of them.
Those little kids are savages, huh?
Yeah, they're fucking great. ADCC 20.
Chris, so what's good with you, man? You plan on boxing anymore, or are you done?
No, I do. We're working on it right now. I'm having a little bit of legal issues as is part of the course of my.
Again.
Yeah, I mean, boxing is very litigious, so we're going through that right now. I'm probably getting a cease and desist because of something I said on this. So. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, no,
they're going through old footage.
Yeah, I've been maintaining, staying sharp, staying in shape as usual.
Of course. What you were at a wedding in Athens?
I was. It was
for how long?
Just a couple days, but I don't know. We continue to travel. Black tie, had to look sharp.
Who
Meanwhile, I
got married?
I didn't even wear a tie.
Who got married?
His family was a cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was good. It was fun. It was you know, I like dressing up, but I fucking don't like wearing ties.
Yeah.
So.
I feel you on that one.
I tried to look it up. It's not popping up quickly, so.
Did you guys see the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight?
I didn't see the fight. I just saw like a couple highlights.
What are your thoughts?
I did. I was I you know, I've been saying it from the rafters. I had Silva winning that fight. I thought I don't think Jake Paul's all that good. He looked better than he has, you know, especially in terms of his gas tank. Silva looked good too, though. He won a bunch of rounds.
I feel like
made
he
very
gassed,
better fight. Yeah, he did. I mean, he's 48 years old. So
yeah.
And listen, who knows what Jake Paul's doing? You know, like in terms of extracurriculars and whatever. I mean, there's a lot of money on that kid.
Does PEDs, Chris?
I did not say that. I'm just saying.
Is that what
who
you're
knows
saying?
what he's doing?
Well, there's also to be fair. Now, obviously, like you said, Anderson's like in his 40s, but do you know that there was an episode of MTV Cribs? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure there was an episode of MTV Cribs. I think that they did like a Anderson Silva thing where they took a view of his house and they like opened up his fridge and he had like HGH stuff like that in the fucking fridge.
I think that was. I think it was his closet. But yes, it was something like that.
Yeah.
They fucking caught him.
All right, good. I just want to make sure I'm not lying like Barstool Sports just did about Kanye.
What did they do?
Dude, Barstool Sports has a side contingent called Chicks. Okay, so where they have like these chicks that fucking talk. I don't think they've ever talked about sports related things, but I don't know. At least I've never heard them talk about anything sport related. But it's like a contingent of their thing. So these chicks are talking about the Kanye thing. And, I feel bad for Kim, whatever. Listen, I don't even care what anybody particularly thinks about it. I mean, that's everybody has their own opinion, but they just flat out lied about what happened. Like, okay, so I could absolutely hear somebody saying Kanye made some anti-Semitic remarks. You could absolutely make that argument. But what you can't make the argument for is what they said, which to me, especially in this day and age with social media and everything like that, this is something that just like wholly unacceptable because it ruins a person's image. Saying somebody made some anti-Semitic remarks is one thing. What they said that he said was that we should kill all the Jews, which he literally never said. Never said anything close to that at all. At all. And they said they said that. They said yes. Yes,
man,
that's
if I was Kanye, I would sue the fuck out of them.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. They should be sued so hard for that. And like, man, it's amazing the things that get like a tag on social media for like, misleading or like, not correct, fact check. This isn't real information. And then like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. You could just fucking say that a guy is like a fucking Hitler and it's totally cool.
And all those Barstool Sports have like a big
I'm not even a huge Kanye fan. I don't even fucking care that much. I just feel shitty when somebody just lies that hard about somebody,
For sure.
That's fair. I don't even know what happened. Like in terms of this whole thing. I know they're saying that he said some anti-Semitic remarks, but
I did a little bit of research,
not
a shit ton. But the gist of it is he was kind of trying to develop a conspiracy theory of the idea that like the Jews own the media and they are.
Well, he didn't develop that. That idea is
correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, develop is the wrong way to put it. He's espousing, I should say, the idea that Jews own the media and that they are involved in, I guess, like proliferating black on black crime and things like that. He's basically suggesting that like they're behind the rap industry, promoting
like they take
guys
advantage
that are saying like fuck such and such person's bitch and kill another, fucking person or whatever the case may be, was kind of the gist of like what he said. And he said it on a couple different platforms. He did it on a Lex Friedman podcast and he did it on something else as well.
I like what Lex told him though. He's like, stop hiding behind, a generalization of a people. and say the names. Like who fucked you? Who are you talking about? Say
Yeah.
He's like what did he
I
say?
like
He
Lex,
said,
man.
he said you should have the balls to call out the person, the individual, not a people.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation we're having right now and like what you just said and what Lex was saying, those are all reasonable things. To say that he said what the Barstool Sports people were trying to suggest that he said is wholly unreasonable. And the other thing that's wholly unreasonable is I don't care how racist you are, to be honest. I feel like it should be illegal for your bank to tell you you can't bank with me anymore.
No.
Bro, that's a whole nother situation with
That's
what's going
fucked
on
up.
recently.
Because that's fucking insane, dude. And here's my question. This is what I wondered to myself. Like, okay, did any of us prior to this moment know that Kanye banked at JP Morgan Chase?
No.
The only reason we know that is because they said we're no longer banking with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
They
it's
took
not
a
like
stand,
they
Gary.
needed to do it because Kanye was like representing them in some way, or somebody was going to be like, I can't believe you guys host accounts for Kanye West and he said anti-Semitic remarks. It's like, no, that would never have happened. Nobody would ever have known he uses that bank.
Why would he not have a private bank? Like, I have a private bank. Why would private bank? That would never happen. That would absolutely never happen.
No idea, but it's fucking insanity that it happened, and there's no other excuse for it other than virtue signaling at that point.
Like
feel
what, Chris?
Exactly.
What do you mean? Like a
So
private bank?
he's got that's a public bank. Anybody can have an account there. Like I have
Right.
a private bank. Like it's not open to the public. So and
Okay.
they
Like,
have
how'd
certain
you
rules.
get in there though? Invitation?
I mean, yeah.
How the fuck
You know?
did you get your money in there, Chris?
I had a lot of money at one point.
But you're saying it's not open to the public. So what? Like you had your bank? You built your bank?
No, not
Like
my
what?
own bank. Like I
But you got
I have
invited to a
I have-
private.
Right. I have a private bank account, and I'm not gonna tell you the name of it. They're not gonna tell the name.
Chris
They're not
has
gonna
like
say that I'm
Russian
one of their clients.
friends
Right. They're not gonna
from
say
his
that
fighting
I'm
days.
I'm one of their clients. And if something were to happen in the public, it would never come out that I'm a member of that bank. My money is secure there. They understand that. I trust them. They trust that I'm not gonna go out and say whatever. So I also have a TD Bank account where I have like a few shekels where I can go day to day, so I don't have to go through my private bank. But why would Kanye West not have? I mean, I'm sure he does too.
I'm
But
sure he does. It's just like one of the. It's like you said. It's probably like one bank that he keeps like a certain amount in, or whatever the case may be. But man, I think we're going. That's a definite slippery slope issue where your bank can start telling you we're no longer using you and allowing you to keep your money here.
One step
when
away
you
from
do
a social
something in
credit
public.
score, where if you do something wrong, we're freezing everything. I mean, people are already getting deplatformed for DMs, like things that aren't even public. That these guys are these social media groups are watching, and they're looking at your DMs and being like, oh, this guy dropped F-bombs and said something bad about women and trans and whatever.
I disagree with all the deplatforming stuff for the most part also, but at the very least, like, it's okay, you can't use social media anymore. Yeah, that's a big deal. Maybe it impacts your ability to make money, especially this day and age. I think it's a big fucking problem. I do think that's a big problem, but I think banks telling you we're no longer banking with you is a bigger problem. I think that's taking things to the level where we're like, that's scary, man. That's super.
That hurts the bank so much though, because they need the fucking money. They don't want to give you back your money. Like for them to say like, hey, you can't bank with us, take your money back. Like that never happens. You ever try to close a bank account? Banks are not fucking happy when you do that.
Yeah, they're
if you
not
take
happy
money
about
out of it. They are not happy about that. So for them to go to the point where they're like, we're not banking with you anymore, you can take your money back. Like that's
speaking of which,
wild.
Hey guys, if you've been enjoying our content and want to help us out, hook us up with a review on iTunes and subscribe to our channels, YouTube and iTunes. Thanks.
My health insurance company out of the blue decided to start charging me $7,200 a month. So I just did exactly that. I just canceled I just closed the bank account that they were taking the money out of because there's no fucking way I'm paying them any more money. That was insane.
Did they catch wind that you're a professional fighter and they were like, this guy's dangerous?
So what I think happened was I think that because I got an ACL surgery and had to do like a bunch of physical therapy and stuff like that. So between the surgery, the physical therapy, and then I was hospitalized for staph not too long ago also. I think because of all of these things, they started to assess
Plus the
me.
chlamydia, the herpes, the
Yes.
it
And all
adds
the
up.
I think they
STDs, of
started to
course.
assess me as a greater risk, but also like, okay, so those things happen, but I'm still like, I don't know.
I think
like
that's an insane amount of
Still
money. A
healthy.
month? A
It's
month
still-
or a year,
it's-
Gary?
Dude, that's like that would be an insane amount of money unless I had like terminal cancer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
It'll
just
be like
like,
your whole family has
Are you
cancer.
sure it was a month
oh no,
or a year?
no. I'm 100% positive. It happened 3 months in a row. They took $21,000.
Well, Frank lives in the Dominican Republic. He doesn't understand how much shit costs here.
Yeah.
Bro,
That's-
I have health insurance from the U.S. and
Mhm.
it cost me what Gary just said, a year.
Yeah.
You have a fam. Oh wow.
It started
Jesus
out.
Christ.
It started out at $1,000 a month. They jumped it up to like 1,500, and then all of a sudden, 1 month they jumped it to 7,200 a month. Yeah.
I
I
have.
have-
You try calling them?
Oh yeah. I talked to the company about everything. Like, oh well, we told you the rates were going to change. It was on like it was sent to like a dead
7
email that I don't
times?
use anymore.
The rates
And,
were going to change.
And I'm like by sevenfold. I was like, that doesn't seem right, you know. So they had some whole conversation with me. They lied to me, tried to tell me that I couldn't cancel my insurance without having proof of other insurance and stuff like that too. So
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah. I canceled,
You
and then
don't have to have insurance.
no.
Your
There was
credit
there
must
was
be
a rule
shit.
for a little while where you would get like some tax
It's a tax.
some
but
tax issue.
That was
or something
Obama
like that.
during
Like,
Obama years. You got.
It wasn't-
There was a,
it's not
tax
like
benefit.
a huge problem. But yeah, they tried to convince me of that too. So I canceled and then closed the account. So and like Chris said, closing the account wasn't easy, but we made it happen.
Gary,
I should have
how's your,
just started making anti-Semitic remarks, and Chase would have immediately closed the account.
Gary, how's your credit score?
I should have been like, really? You don't want to close the account? Well, you know, I heard.
Oh,
social
you know
media."
what? I heard the,
Gary's gonna
Jews.
start getting some past due notices through the mail
Oh man. Too
from
fun.
from that company. Well, how's your
That's
credit
okay.
score, Gary?
Credit score is good, man. Yeah, I've had a
Really?
good credit score for a long time. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I talk about this a lot to, especially to like younger guys that are coming up trying to build credit and stuff like that. Like my mom was so against the idea, and she'll deny this. She's done it in person before. She was so against the idea when I was younger. I was like 17, 18 or something, I think, when I got my first credit card, and she was freaking out about it. Because I told her, I was like, hey, you know, I'm talking to my one buddy. He kind of explained to me how credit works and, you know, how you need to build credit in order to, like, you know, be able to get out these loans, like in order to basically to buy a car or a house or whatever the case may be. Like, you're going to have to develop credit, whatever. She was so against it. She's like, no, just like pay for it. You know, there's no reason to spend money
Cash.
you don't have. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend money I don't have. That's not the point. In fact, when you do that, your credit score goes down. So no, the point is you just, you know what I mean? Like it's a complex system that a lot of people don't understand, and it's sad that it's never explained to
Me
anybody. because
included.
It's very important. What's that?
Me included. I don't understand it either
Oh,
because I
I
close
mean-
credit cards, my credit score goes down. So
Yes, by all means. By all means, I'm not an expert in any level of any sense of the word, but I know enough that I was able to build credit over time and kind of make things work. I don't have a perfect credit score, obviously, but I do well. I'm probably like above 750 if I had to guess.
oh, you're good. You're
Yeah.
fine then. I had the complete opposite experience with credit, especially early on, especially with my mother. She was like, "Oh, you have to build credit. Get a credit card." She took got a credit
Oh,
card
no.
immediately, and she was like, "Just put everything on that. Put your gas, your books, all of that." And I remember a couple years go by, and she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to pay for all that." I was like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "Yeah, your credit card, like that's on you." Because it was like, "Oh, Mom, this is past overdue," and she's like, "Yeah, you gotta pay for that." I was like, "Okay, all right, well, all right." Then I did.
Oh,
then I
because you thought she was paying for it.
well, yeah,
It's
that
like,
was
yeah,
what
you just put it on your credit card. Yeah,
that's
just
how it
do.
was sold to me. Yeah. So then okay.
She
No
was
problem.
taking Chris
Problem.
to the supermarket for the
I
house.
said,
House
I
shopping.
said, listen, I needed those things. I paid for those things. I pay it off. Boom. Then I intercept some mail. Bank of America with my name on it. I'm like, I don't have a Bank of America credit card.
You do now.
$5,000 Credit card bill. Mom, what is this? Don't worry about that. Grabs it and pulls it away. She took out multiple credit cards. Multiple credit
Under your
cards.
name?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No,
That's gangster,
Oh,
bro.
yeah. Ran my credit
Wow.
into the goddamn ground.
My
Into the
God.
ground. I was like 20 years old and I had like a 200 credit score.
Man, that's horrific. I'm so sorry that happened to you. That sucks,
That
man.
was rough. So I had a girlfriend. She was a little bit older than me. She was a teacher, and thank God she just put me on as like an additional name on her credit cards, and she always paid her shit on time. So built my credit card up and my credit up to enough where I could actually get my own credit card. I had a $500 limit on a credit card, and I just used that over and over again. I would just max it out, pay it off,
Yep.
max it out, pay it off, max it out. Eventually built it up, and now I have like literally
Yeah.
perfect.
It's funny because the fucking credit thing is it's just so
Weird.
it's so weird, man. There's all the rules associated with it and everything like that, and it's stuff you legitimately just have to like look up and study and learn from other
It's a
people.
complex system.
Bro, that's everything. When it comes to finances, especially in this country, that's everything. When it comes to stocks and bonds, when it comes to credit, when it comes to everything. I mean, taxes. Taxes are so complicated. It's fucking insane. It's not meant to be easy. They make this really difficult for a reason.
Yeah.
They being the Jews.
The Jews.
It's a joke.
And cancel. And cancel. Roll credits. Oh man.
Episode, guys. Let's go.
That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Oh,
That was good.
man.
Chris brought it
Wow.
back.
That's amazing. It's funny. You know what's funny about the credit thing too is I remember growing up as a kid, and we'd be at like an amusement park or something like that, and they were giving credit cards away like candy. Like anybody who like would fucking in fact they'd be giving credit cards away with candy. Like they'd give you something to sign up for the credit card and all these sorts of things. And now it's like hard as fuck to get credit cards. Like if you don't have credit ahead of time or whatever the case may be and you want to sign up for a credit card, I remember the first couple cards that I tried to sign up for, they were just like absolutely not. I had to get a secured card first. They wouldn't let me get like a regular unsecured credit card.
I mean, once my credit was fucked, it was really hard to get a card. And
Yeah.
people figured out the scam. They're like, oh shit, we can just run this shit up, and then listen. Especially if you're a kid, you can run it up and then go declare bankruptcy. What is it? 8 years, 7 years,
Then
something
bounce.
like that. Like, if you're 18, 19, 20, 8 years, you're not buying a house for another 15 years anyway.
Shit.
Hey guys, Chris Algieri just just remember this.
Yeah, giving 18-year-olds.
Max out some credit cards today. Yeah, but that's the problem. They won't. It's exactly what you just said. So now they won't do that anymore. It's very difficult to get like. I think before I had like a real decent limit on a credit card, it took several years before I was able to like spend real money per month on a credit card. I think now I have like pretty high limits, but back in the beginning, I mean, maybe it started out with, like you said, like $500 or something like that. It wasn't anything major. Another good trick for anybody that's listening that wants to work on their credit, wants to work on increasing their credit limit, is just entirely lie about how much money you make per year, and they'll increase your credit limit. I used to do that.
Lie.
I used to do that constantly.
It was like, yeah, I make 30 G's a month. They're
They're
like, oh, okay.
not.
We're not going to check on this at all. So
So
yeah.
Gary, so
Think
what's
it's
your
pretty-
next move, man? What's going on?
I'll fight next year. I told them, I was kind of like nursing some old injuries and stuff like that.
What do you got?
Sorry.
What do you have?
Don't fucking worry about it, man. No, but
This guy's
Yeah,
trying
I
to break the internet on fucking
I got some
Gary's-
stem cell work done, and the guy wanted me to take off afterwards to like really give it a chance to heal. So
In
I'm
Mexico?
kind of like just now getting back into the swing of like light training and stuff like that. So as you can see with the mark on my face, got punched in the face a little bit today. So I'm kind
Got
of getting
lit
back
up.
in the swing of it now. So I think I'll be ready to fight next year.
Did
Nice.
you
Back-
did you
back
hear
to
Eddie?
striking. Back to
Sorry.
MMA. You're doing MMA.
Yeah. Hopefully fight. It's been too long since I fought. So yeah, we got to fight again. That's got to be the first thing.
Did you hear Eddie Bravo's testimonial on stem cells?
Which one with the? Did he go to the Chipsa place with Scotty Nelson or?
Is that in Mexico?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
where you went?
No, Scotty's a really good friend of mine. He's been telling me about it for years. But I have a doctor that I see in New York that he did stem cells on my elbow, and it went really, really, really well. My elbow has never been better. So I've kind of that's what worked for me. So
Bro,
I
you
just
should
decided to stick with that. You know what I
You
mean?
should get the stuff that's not available in the U.S.
I hear you, man. You know,
Everything's bigger in Mexico, dog.
There's a lot of places that are doing it and shit like that. You know, it's tough, man, because it's kind of uncharted territory. There's just not a lot of like proven data behind everything yet. So it's going to take some time, unless it's a COVID vaccine, in which case we'll distribute it to everybody and force everybody to get it. Otherwise, they'll lose their job.
Do you guys remember when they were giving out cheeseburger and fries? When you got vaccinated?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, how fucking crazy is that?
For something that the efficacy was never like confirmed, and there was no research or study at all. We had to move in the speed of science in order to get them out. Okay.
That moment in time is going to be just so bizarre.
It's going to take a long time before we could look at this in like a very real way, because there's so many people that have something to lose from like real information coming out about this.
It's too close still.
It's going to be tough. It's going to take some time.
We podcasted through that whole thing, so I want to go back and listen to those. We were deep in the weeds.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember Chris having fucking arguments with his apartment complex about use of the pool.
Bro, that came to a head, and I won because I just told him, I was like, I became the president of the pool committee, which all that meant was I had access with a key. So I was just like, oh, I'm good. That's why I just want to go to the pool. I don't give a fuck about anything. I want to go to the pool.
Just wanted the keys to the pool. He just wanted the keys.
Just wanted the keys. Just give me access to the pool. I don't give a shit about.
I don't give a shit about anybody. I just need to get my tan on.
You know, Chris, you're supposed to be showing up to the weekly meetings.
Chris, you're supposed to open up for everybody else. I'm like, I'm there almost every day for me, and it's open.
I've been monitoring it very closely.
Yeah, very, 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 very closely.
I don't think it's ready for anybody else to use except for hot chicks right now.
I would be really careful for anyone who is over the age of 20 years old and is male, because it's very, very dangerous in there.
Dude, Chris wrote out the new pool rules and handed them out to the whole like.
I also think that complex. Like only G strings will be allowed now. I think it's for whatever reason.
Topless is completely fine.
Protective against COVID.
Not only is topless okay, but it is recommended. It is appreciated, and it protects you against COVID. So
there's something about the areolas, exposed areolas, that really
actually it helps the people around you. That's the crazy thing. It's like you don't expose the nipples for your own protection. You do it for everybody else.
It boosts everybody's testosterone around you, so naturally their immunity will be.
Chris had like theme days, White Claw Wednesdays, ladies only.
Yeah. Thirsty Thursdays. Come on, girls.
Thong Thursdays.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Makachev versus what's his face?
Oliveira. I didn't see it, and I'm pissed because I really like Oliveira, but
dude,
I didn't expect
Makachev is no joke.
Apparently.
That guy just made it look so easy.
And Oliveira is good at everything. Like he's a true mixed martial artist. Like he strikes really well. His ground is really good.
He's got a really good takedown as well.
Really good takedowns, good takedown defense. He
gave Tony Ferguson a wrestling clinic too.
Oh, he beat the fuck out of Tony Ferguson. That was the end of Tony. He ended Tony. Bad man. But I was worried with him because that chin is gonna run out. Like he's been in so many fucking wars, and he gets cracked, and he always gets up. He's get hurt in every fight. Every single fight he's in, he gets hurt. He gets hurt every single fight.
He gets dropped.
He gets dropped. He gets wobbled. He gets hurt.
Well, I mean, what was the fight?
That shit runs out.
There was the one fight where they had to call him out on the feet, right? What fight was that? I forget.
Max Holloway.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Because he didn't fall down. They ended the fight. They just were like, man, it's just too much.
He got stopped a lot early on, but even recently, even when he's been on his like crazy run with all these wins against top guys, like he gets hurt every fight, and like that can't last.
No. At first, I thought he was doing that on purpose, like to bait him. But then I'm like, no, there's no way. There's no way.
Well, even in Makhachev, who's not a puncher, he cracked him with that left hook and dropped him, and then that was the beginning of the end. He stopped him right after that.
Yep. Did you guys see? How come you guys aren't doing anything for Halloween today?
Dude, it's funny because I forgot to get candy for the kids. So I had like a couple chocolate bars that I used to make s'mores that I gave out, and then after that it was like all Quest bars for my weight cut. So a bunch of kids just got a bunch of protein bars that are indefinitely going to make them shit.
They're probably like
their kidneys are going to hurt tomorrow.
I love Quest bars. I actually think they taste great.
I do too.
But for sure they're going to make them shit, no doubt.
Mommy, my back hurts.
Gary opens the door and says, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!"
There was a couple other bars with like caffeine in them that I threw into the bowl that Murdad might be handing out downstairs right now. So God bless those children.
You're ruining some parents' lives tonight.
Chris, did they knock on your door?
No, I live in a gated community, and also it might as well be a fucking elderly community. Like everyone here is super old. Like my best friend here is an 80-year-old cancer survivor named Les.
Your best friend?
My best friend. No, I hang out with him all the time. Listen to this. This guy, he's an 80-year-old cancer.
Smoke cigars and drink whiskey.
Well, if it wasn't for the cancer, he probably would. But he drinks every day at 3:30 p.m. He has bourbon every single day at 3:30 p.m. Every single day. So he'll send me a text. It'll be he's really good at texting. He says it'll be a glass of bourbon with a big beautiful ice cube in it. It's 3:30. Yeah, just go. Bar's open. Come up anytime. And so I try and go up like once a week and just go out and hang out with him and have a bourbon. We talk about stocks. We talk about hippies and girls he used to bang when he was younger and whatever. And then
his wife died.
No, she lives
she's
right
there.
Yeah, she's there. Yeah.
She's next to him. Wow, he literally talks about.
He gives me the. He tells me the stories, from the 70s, whatever. But yeah, we talk stocks and we drink bourbon. But like some days I'm like, hey Les, man, it's 3 p.m. Like I have things to do later. I can't have 2 glasses of bourbon and then go on with my day. Like I'm gonna walk out of your apartment and then go like rage because
he's probably like, you kids these days, you're soft.
Yeah,
soft.
I used to drink bourbon between rounds.
Yeah, he has 2 bourbons and he walks his dog and then he's like goes and does paperwork. I'm like I leave there. I'm like, whoa, okay, what are we doing now? Yeah. But yeah, there will be no knocks on my door.
Gary, do you ever go lift weights with Gordon?
No, not really. Lifting and things like that are a pretty minor part of my, regimen for training and stuff. I did a lot of exercise leading up to this ADCC, but it was mostly cardio to just try to keep the weight off. But I mostly do like the exercises that I do on a day-to-day basis for conditioning are mostly body weight related. So I do like a lot of pull-ups, push-ups, dips, bridges, a lot of different things that just like gymnastic movements and things too, like single leg squats, pistol squats, that sort of thing. So I stick to mostly.
That makes sense.
Occasionally.
For your size, Gordon needs to lift. He's a big guy with big guys.
Sure. Occasionally I do like some heavy lifting here and there, but I don't really do that like crazy often, so. But yeah, no, I don't do too much with those guys.
Who do you do like your strength and conditioning with, Gary?
Well, I don't have like a strength and conditioning coach. I went to school for exercise science, so for me, and I worked at a strength and conditioning facility for a couple years, taught there. So I kind of feel like I have a decent idea of like what's necessary. And like I said, it's like a very auxiliary component of like what I do. I don't consider it a main part of me as an athlete. And it's ironic because one of the attributes I would say that most people would attribute to my competitive success would probably be having really, really good like cardio, for example. Like I just am able to not be tired for almost every match that I've ever had. I've never had any issue with like running out of energy. So despite not having a consistent strength and conditioning routine per se, that like a lot of other athletes swear by, or a nutrition program for that matter, I still seem to manage to make it work.
Burgers and whiskey. Burgers and whiskey.
So, yeah, the Andrew Tate model.
Dude, that motherfucker.
You
So
guys like
first
that?
of all,
You guys
he
like
puts out
Andrew
some,
Tate?
he puts out some really good stuff. People are fucking pussies,
Speak-
man. Some
people
of
are
it's
pussies.
a little crazy, but some of it's pretty good.
yeah, but I think a lot of the stuff that's crazy is it's comedic, like, and he knows that
Yeah.
he's being
100%.
funny with a lot of stuff, like it's performative.
He's
a lot of what
yeah,
he's doing.
he's exaggerating.
For
his
sure.
ideas.
He's exaggerating. He laughs when he's saying it. Anyone who doesn't see that is just being an asshole. Like the guy is an asshole, but so are a lot of people, and we're all assholes here. I think it's
And
just,
what's wrong with
it's
that?
part of being. There's nothing wrong with that, and
Yeah.
there's nothing evil about that, and I don't think that guy's evil. You want to talk about like, his whatever criminal offenses there are, but listen, the guy would probably be in jail, even in Romania. But a lot of stuff he says is really, really smart. He's an intelligent
Very
guy.
smart. Yeah.
His background's really pretty cool. His dad was a chess master. He was a professional chess player before the age of like 10 or whatever. And he was a legit kickboxer. Like I knew about him as a kickboxer. Like way before this thing became a thing, this whole Andrew Tate Tate speech and all that. I knew about him way before that because of kickboxing. And he wasn't great by any means, but he was damn good. He was damn good.
Yeah.
Really fight. He's an ISK world champion, just like I was. The guy could really fight. Which I look at all of it like, listen, this guy can fight. This guy can talk. This guy's intelligent. This guy's made a lot of money. However way he made it. Like he's a successful individual in multiple fronts. And I don't think they're going to be able to cancel him. He's got a lot of eyes on him. He's already built himself up. Everybody's talking about him. It's just he's viral. He's legitimately viral. So,
Yeah.
And what's cool is that like when they try to cancel him, like everybody with a big platform had him on.
yeah.
So they just made him that much bigger.
The first time that I heard of him, or like, as Andrew Tate, this guy was on Your Mom's House with Tom Segura.
Yeah.
Tom loves when guys talk shit, when men talk shit about women. So like, he's like, I love this guy. Let's put him on. So he brought him on, and like that podcast was incredible. Like he was so performative, was playing to his audience, which was Tom, and Tom loves that whole thing. Talking shit about his wife right in front of her, like women are this, women are that. It was funny, and like it at the end of the day, it's a comedy podcast. So like if you look at it and take it for what it's entertainment. That's all it is.
Sure.
He played his part.
Well, I think I would argue though, like some of it is entertainment, but I would actually argue that there's a lot of good lessons to be learned. Some of it, like I said, like you said, is a little bit of hyperbole for performatively or whatever the case may be. But man, especially in the day and age that we are currently living in, with like just basically we're pushing like as much low testosterone mentality as we possibly can in every area that we possibly can. I mean, fuck, man. If we got to hear a little bit of something going in the other direction, that might be a little bit of hyperbole, like a fucking God, like we need it, dude. We fucking need it, dude, because everything else you're fucking hearing is I mean, man, they're like men like feel like they can't be men.
No.
It's fucking crazy.
Well, toxic masculinity and man, what was it, mansplaining and all these fucking new terms that came. I remember the first time I heard about toxic masculinity from a friend of mine, and they were like, they said that word. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, you've never heard of toxic masculinity? I'm like, no. What masculinity is it's binary. There's a thing. Like, that's what it is. You know, like,
Yeah.
is masculinity, is femininity. Like, how does it be? Just because it is toxic?
Yeah.
You know, like, but yeah, they looked at me like I had two heads. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane about, you know, you can't be a man anymore, and if you are, you're evil. And
Sure.
there's all these people out there, these guys especially, who are just trying to be the exact opposite of that, and are just complete fucking pussies. Meanwhile, they are being underhandedly so, because they don't want to be like that either. They just know that that's where they're going to get their brownie points, and that's where they're going to get attention. It's insane.
Sure. One thing I'll definitely say is the place that you shouldn't be looking to learn how to be a man is women. If women are telling you how to be a man, just fucking take your two fingers and just go like
Go,
this.
nah.
How the fuck? What the fuck do they have to say about it? How would they know? You know what I mean? I'm not going around telling women how to be women. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
Listen, I'm gonna say the opposite. The women I speak to that are in the dating pool are like, these guys are pussies. Like, they want a man to be a man.
For sure.
Like, they want a man to be a man. Like, that's from my dealings over the past decade or so. Every female that I know that has been in the dating pool has been concerned about guys who can't pick a fucking restaurant, you know, like, want you to pick them up. And, you know, those kind of things, like, yeah, is that manly? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just take charge.
Guys,
A lot of women want that.
you know what? I think that in today's society, like what we're talking about, guys like Andrew Tate and the Liver King are so popular because I think that there's like an actual craving for that type of message.
Absolutely.
And if you see both of them, they have like they're very similar. They're
Because people
different,
are afraid.
but what they're saying are very similar things. Like their
Andrew
messages
Tate's a
are
lot
very-
smarter. He's a lot smarter.
I was
Yeah, but you know they're both like preaching basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was listening to I'm spacing on it. Jordan Peterson. I was listening to something.
He's another one.
Yeah, he's another great one. I was listening to something Jordan Peterson was saying for a second about, and it was like a basically talking like an evolutionary standpoint about like zebras or something and how they work. And the idea basically is that like the zebra strategy is so that all of them kind of like blend together and nobody sticks out of the crowd, right? Which is why it becomes harder to like pick off. You know, if one of the zebras looks slightly different than one of the other zebras, it gets picked off. Like if they tag it, or if they put like any markings on it that made it look different from the other zebras, regardless of how healthy it was, they were getting preyed on more often. Like their strategy was.
The whole point is if it's injured, then it's gonna be slower. They can get it. So
sure. Well, so that's what he was saying, that we used to think that, but apparently it has more to do with the fact that it's different from the herd than it does have to do with the fact that it's slower or injured or whatever the case may be. Is basically what he determined. Who knows how accurate or valid it is, but the point is, in terms of evolution or animal in the animal world or whatever, but the point that he was trying to make is that there is a strategy going on now where, and this is fairly obvious, I would say, but I like the idea of comparing it to something that happens in the animal kingdom. There's a strategy going on now where everybody goes, well, if I just blend in and I don't stick out as like maybe like somebody that goes against the rest of the herd here, I'm not going to get picked off, you know? And that's what's going on here. So like there's a ton of people that believe a lot of the things that these guys are saying, but never say it or won't agree with it publicly or whatever the case may be because they're afraid that they're going to get fucking picked off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They just want to blend in. It seems like the rest of the masses is going in this particular direction. Well, let me duck my head down and go with the rest of the masses because I don't want to be the one that loses my job or loses my money or loses my social media presence or, you know, whatever the case may be. So people are terrified to say how they really feel, but these guys are in a position where they don't give a fuck, and it's great.
Yeah, and apparently there's a thirst for that. You know, there's people want that. They want that exposure. They want someone to put themselves out there and be in danger, but also are man enough and strong enough to fight it. Like, that's the problem with zebras. They can't fight if they're stuck out. If they get singled out, they're not fighting the lion.
Yeah.
But
100%.
these guys, like you're saying, the Jordan Petersons of the world, the Liver Kings, the Andrew Tates, are like, listen, I'm strong enough to deal with whatever comes at me from what I say. So let's go. And those guys have a lot of power now because they have so many eyes, and that is a really big thing now. Your influence, that word influence, is massive now because of social media, and these guys wield it with some serious power.
Dude, and
Just
those
like
guys.
Frankie does. Frankie's got all those fucking followers. He's got a coffee company, and everybody wants it. And like, he can do whatever he wants.
I stand my ground. I don't give a fuck.
Speaking of which, I went to fucking 3 different gas stations to try to get coffee today, so I'm gonna need more coffee, buddy.
I got your back.
3 different gas stations.
Hey,
So
there's
the gas stations in Texas, there are fucking 84 different types of pickles. There's fucking 12 different types of cowboy hats that I could buy at the fucking
pickles.
gas station. But I go to try to buy fucking coffee, the probably #1 drink that people drink on a daily basis in the fucking United States, well, probably in the world, and
That's the world.
nothing. Maybe there's like a couple instant coffees, maybe some Folgers, which is the worst fucking coffee on the fucking planet. If anybody's ever tried it, it's horrific. No matter how much Folgers you put into the pot, it doesn't matter.
so bad.
It still tastes like it's like
Exactly
water
the
with
same.
like a little bit of coffee flavoring. It's awful. Don't fucking drink Folgers. It's disgusting. If your family is buying Folgers or whatever the case may be, spend the extra 37 cents. Okay, and please
And
get
upgrade.
yourself some different coffee, or spend the extra maybe $1 and get some Chimera coffee. But, but dude,
oh, yeah.
it's
Gary,
so
Gary, come on, man. You're in Texas. Be a man. Drink whiskey. Just fucking start your day.
Every
fucking
morning.
whiskey.
Drink whiskey. Bourbon.
I gotta follow you.
That's another one. That Be a Man guy on social media. He's fucking hilarious.
Who's that? Who's that?
You don't know this guy? He's like
maybe. I
he's
don't
like
know.
Boston
he's
Be a
like a
Man?
middle-aged dude. He's like this
I don't
big middle-aged dude, and like he just goes up there. He's just like, if your wife, says something, whatever. If your wife asks you for dinner, like, tell her to fucking make it. Be a man. Like
if your back hurts, just fucking complain about it all day, but never do anything
Yeah.
about it. Be a
never
man.
see a doctor. Guy's awesome.
You guys got to send me a clip
Yeah.
of this guy.
Oh,
He's
so,
he's major. He's definitely viral.
Yeah.
He's out. It's fucking hilarious.
that's the mainstream shit now for sure. I have his flag hung up in my little gym studio in my garage, where I'm gonna get murdered one day doing a private for sure.
Dude, and Elon
Oh,
Musk
you
and
said it here
Twitter.
on the podcast. We'll
That's
be
something
able to
that's
avenge
trending.
you.
Elon Musk and Twitter. Everybody's like up in arms. He like fired
I love that.
all the
Dude.
execs.
He's the
Very
fucking savage.
soon after that switchover happened, for the first time ever that I had ever seen, they put an misinformation tag on something that Biden posted, because that motherfucker and the White House,
yeah.
they're constantly sending out shit that's just nonsense, like shit about us not being of us being like financially in a great place and all these sorts of things. Like, dude, I see the price of everything going up. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, what planet are you living on?
But there's no misinformation tag. There's no fucking none of that shit that you have on like anything that Trump would say or like all these sorts of things. So for the first time ever, they actually said he said something related to like a bunch of billionaires not getting taxed or something, and under his new plan, these billionaires would get taxed or whatever. And the misinformation tag was like, yeah, actually, this isn't true at all. Only like 5 or 10 of them are actually going to be affected by this plan.
It's so ridiculously one-sided. So nuts.
Well, he's gonna. I think it's gonna. I bet on him. That guy, like anything he sets his mind to. I bet you Twitter's gonna be a better.
I don't know.
I mean, his idea is that it should be a place where people can have debates and
Man, any
be
criticism?
free to speak their mind.
Any
What's
criticism I've ever heard of Elon Musk just baffles the shit out of me. Like, what the fuck are you guys want? This dude's fucking inventing shit. He's making fucking crazy successful fucking companies and like stuff that goes along with the agenda that you guys want, like fucking clean energy and all this sort of shit. It's just like,
Yeah, it's like he's
what
doing
could this
things that
guy
are changing
possibly
mankind.
do? I don't understand.
And he has fun doing it. I think that's what pisses people off. Like he's actually
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he's not like your average like billionaire.
well, he's not Bill Gates. He's not a fucking
He's not
turd,
a tool.
you know? Like
not
he's
a
like,
dork.
yeah, I mean, he is a dork, but he's not like a fucking tool of the machine, like a Bill Gates or a fucking Soros, who's literally
Zuckerberg.
well,
sometimes
Zuckerberg,
acts-
another one.
acts
He's a
he acts
fucking
like
super.
He's got Asperger's.
Yeah, well, I mean, so does Elon probably. But these guys have different kinds of brains than we do. They look at things very differently. Or like a Soros, who's like literally like an evil genius from a movie. Like all these guys are. It's wild. We live in a fucking Batman movie right now. Like it's so fucking nuts.
Dude, talking about Batman, did you guys see that viral clip of Puff Daddy dressed as a Joker picking a fight on the street?
No.
Dude, he like
Daddy picking a fight?
yeah, and he's like his makeup is awesome, by the way. Like he dresses up like Heath Ledger Batman, Joker. And he's like picking a fight with this other dude, and he starts laughing like the Joker when this dude's like trying to like fight him.
The guy does not know his ditty.
No, and then he says, "It's Puff, my ninja." And he's like, "Who?" It's Puff. And then he's like, "Oh shit, it's Puff." And then they embrace, and it's really awkward. It's a really awkward
It's really
interaction.
awkward.
It's really awkward.
It's really awkward.
This dude's like, is he like really trying to fight me, or is he fucking with me? Because he's like laughing and being like really hostile towards the person. It's funny as shit. Yeah. Yo, motherfuckers. So let's do this every fucking week, man.
Yeah,
We're
let's
back.
get back into it.
That's it.
Man,
We're
I got
back.
a ton of
Back.
I got a
bitches.
ton of feedback from people like about restarting the podcast. Like I would say like every event that I attend, I get at least 2 or 3 people that are like, "Hey man, what happened to the podcast? I fucking listen to that shit while I'm taking a dump." You know.
I had a bunch of people who reach out too, like over the years, like, "Oh man, bring," and people that will post on like like, "Oh, bring back Flesh Wound," and you know, people are like, "Oh, I like hearing that." I'm like, all right,
Yeah, let's get at it, man. And all
It's
you
very different than everything else I do, so why the fuck not?
and all you fucking listeners, tell your friends. We back.
Yes.
Back.
It helps. Tell everybody. If you like it,
Yeah,
then
tell everybody.
somebody.
Tell your mom and your dad.
Have your mom DM me.
Yes.
Don't do that. Like Gary's mom used to DM me.
Oh my god, she definitely would. She definitely would. She's like, she does that to like anything. Like she like DMs guys that won championships. Like she'll talk to their Instagram people and all this kind of stuff, like trying to get stuff done. She's out of her mind. Dude.
Listens to the podcast and then she starts writing me stuff from the podcast, like her feedback.
That's awesome.
You know what she didn't
is
hear
so
though?
awesome.
Somehow she didn't hear the episode where I was complaining about her London broil. Because I've yet to have her
Say
say
anything about
to
it?
me about that.
Maybe
yet,
she
so,
forgot.
Yeah.
Oh man, my mom's London broil was so fucking bad.
Well, we shouldn't even say it's not about anybody's way of cooking. It's just a bad cut of meat. It's just not
Bro,
good.
I can make a London broil good. I'm telling you right now,
Can you?
I can make a good London
I
broil.
bet.
Yes, I can.
All right.
Dude,
I'm gonna
Chris-
post that.
I have
I'm
to
gonna
see
post that. I'm gonna
I
post
bet-
that. I'm gonna make it and I'll put the recipe. I can make a London broil like really good.
All right.
Yeah. Dude, I put my money on Chris.
If anybody
That
can
boy
do it,
can
I
cook.
believe in Chris for sure.
I
But
take cheap cuts
basically,
and
once
and
this
make them like
podcast wasn't happening, the main times that I reached out to Chris was when I was eating obscene amounts of meat. So.
Dude,
Meat for life.
Chris, have you heard anything from Benny the Chin?
Yeah, so he he's been commenting on my boxing podcast, Inside Boxing Live. He's been asking questions about Jake Paul and whatnot. It was pretty funny. He was on. We had like a scrolling, what do they call that? Like a chat. And
Okay,
he
like a
came
live-
on and he asked a
live
question.
session?
Yeah, he asked some ridiculous question about Silva and his head and being able to take a punch. It was pretty funny. They were like, you know this guy? I'm like, yeah, very well. He's a legend on Long Island. And they were like, oh,
Right.
really? I'm like, no, literally.
Wait, you're friends with this fucking guy, really?
Literally a legend on Long Island.
I'm gonna see if we can get him
Shit.
on a
He's-
podcast this month, man.
The best. He's the
Well,
best.
Guys, it was a pleasure seeing your faces and listening to your
Yeah.
dear voices.
Yeah, I loved it, man. Miss you guys.
I move
I
Absolutely
bet
miss you guys too, man.
for
Good
no
stuff.
man.
Peace.
No man. No man. No man.